Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We are broadcasting from the Thacker Jewelry Studios. Start your story with engagement rings and wedding bands from Thacker Jewelry online at thackerjewelry.com. And we've got Dave King as well as Councilman Steve Massengale on the line. Councilman Massengale, last night, are welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Matt. It's good to be on the show. I wish I was there in person, but I'm glad to be there telephonically.
Yeah, I like it better when it's in person. We can talk a little bit during the breaks and whatnot, but this is better than nothing, right?
I agree.
So one of the questions, we've got a lot going on. We've got budgets happening there in at the city council, but one of the big things that happened a couple weeks ago was that the city council did a vote on the red brick streets to try and make it where we can repair what's underneath the streets, repair the streets, and actually do it in a cost-effective manner. What happened at the city council?
Well, last night we had a recommendation from Mayor Pro Tem to postpone that to the next meeting. He chairs our streets committee, and it was a recommendation from that committee. They had some more work to do on that one item.
So I think there was, according to the AJ, there was a lot of people that came in asking for the brick streets to stay. What kind of comments did y'all get on that?
We didn't get any comments on the brick streets last night. There were a group of people that have organized in defense of the brick streets, kind of maintaining their legacy, and I appreciate their opinion on that. I feel like we've got to find a way to maintain our streets downtown in a cost-effective manner. And right now, I don't think you'd argue with me that they're not maintained. And so I think that's what Mr. Griffith's committee is working towards, is trying to find a cost-effective way for us to be able to maintain some brick street legacy and have streets that are drivable downtown.
Yeah, well, it seems to me that, and I'm sure we all drive on them, and if it's a fine, well-maintained brick street, I think they're fine. But I'm telling you, there are some spots down there that will absolutely are dangerous.
There's no doubt. I've said this more than once, is that if you're a runner, if you run in any of the road races that start downtown, you really understand how rough those streets are when you run on them, because there's some places that really need some maintenance. But I think what we approved and what will come back before us maintains a good balance of respecting the history of our downtown, but at the same time being able to provide streets that are drivable and that are going to be cost-effective to maintain in the future.
Now, one of the biggest problems is that the utilities that are underneath those streets are almost inaccessible without having the historical, department in Lubbock or the group that's over that overseeing the removal of the bricks and the putting them back down. I mean, and there's a lot of utility work that needs to be done under those streets.
And the utilities are obviously the oldest utilities when you look at them in downtown. But when you do any street, there's always utility cost. I mean, we talk about having 114th Street done. There's utility costs associated with that also.
Yeah. So now we're looking at the budget. There's nothing in the budget about brick streets, so I'm assuming that kind of thing it wouldn't even start. If anything started, it wouldn't start until 2021.
Yeah, there's nothing in the budget that would begin work on brick streets. I guess I would remind you that back in October in our council annual planning session is that we discussed streets in that meeting, and we really anticipated having some form of we felt like we would propose a bond to be voted on by the public, and then when COVID hit, that changed those plans. So I kind of think brick streets to get started would probably need some type of bond help to really make an impact. I don't know if you're going to remember we've been funding street maintenance with cash out of the general fund this is our 4th year, and we still have that cash in this proposed budget to do that, and even that cash is not enough to meet our annual needs of street maintenance. So you're really going to need some kind of capital injection to get a head start on those brick streets.
So what do we need as far as the annual need for street maintenance versus what we have? What's the shortfall on that?
We've discussed that a lot. I think we'd like to have $15 million a year, and we're working to get there. But as you know, we have restrictions, especially this year as we work on our budget, and we're proposing a tax decrease. We'll continue to strive for that. I'm proud that we're able to fund $10 million in cash.
So right now, y'all are about $5 million short is from what you really want.
Yeah, I think that's a fair estimate. We haven't discussed that a whole lot, but I mean, we could work on streets all the time, and so we have to prioritize what we do with that $10 million. But we would always love to have more cash for street maintenance.
Okay.
What was the big news out of the council meeting last night, Steve?
We got an update on the budget from the city manager, but we had a low-key meeting last night. It wasn't. We talked about there was an item finalizing the election for November 3rd. We had some second readings on some zoning cases last night, and we postponed the brick street item. And the other thing was we had an item that came from facilities, which was a committee I chair. We're trying to award the final bid on the parking garage outside of Citizens Tower, and the city manager pulled that, so there wasn't really didn't have any high points.
I'll tell you, Steve, it's 7:15. We need to take a break here, but when we come back, the new office buildings, something that we need to hear from you and let us know how that's going. Let's take a break. Matt?
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back on Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We are broadcasting from the Thacker Jewelry Studios. Thacker Jewelry buys gold and silver jewelry. Call 806-794-7766 to have your gold and silver jewelry professionally appraised. We've got Councilman Steve Massengale on the phone right now. Councilman Massengale, I think Dave was wanting to talk to you about the buildings.
Yeah. I was just looking at it just the other day. I drove by and looked at it from the outside, and it's quite beautiful. I'm looking forward to taking a tour someday. Well, how is that working out for us, Steve?
It's worked out really well, Dave. And yes, the building's turned out really, really nice. It's nice to be in it. We moved in it during the coronavirus, but we've got, I think LP&L just got through they're in the process of moving in, so it's nice to have them in the building, and we'd love to take you on a tour sometime. It's a Citizens building, and but it's working quite nicely to have all the city departments together. We're enjoying being in it.
It sounds like it. Well, another hot issue that at least Randy Christian raised on our station here a few days ago were sirens, and this is something that has drawn a huge response from the KFYO audience, and almost 100% do not favor sirens, and I have to confess I am among those. Where do we stand on sirens for the city of Lubbock?
Well, it's funny. It's funny how divisive sirens have been. When you don't have sirens, all you get is emails and calls about why we need sirens. The staff has proposed an outdoor warning system with a price tag of about $1 million. I believe it's 38 sirens. The the price on that technology has come way, way down. It was at a price. I remember it was at a price when I first ran for council where I really didn't feel like I could support that. But it seems like there as many people aren't interested in it. There's as many people that are interested in it. So it's in our proposed budget. We have not approved that budget yet, but there is an outdoor warning system in our budget. And I think it's appropriate to call it an outdoor warning system because that's exactly what it's designed for. It's to warn you if you are outside.
But aren't most tornadoes going to happen while you're in bed, asleep, or if you're outdoor, you're going to see at least the storms coming.
Well, I don't know that tornadoes happen while you're asleep, Matt, but it's. I guess that's the point. You don't know when the tornado's coming, but this is a system that. It would warn you if you're outdoors, and it would warn you. It's mainly focused on tornadoes, but there might be some other weather events it could warn you about.
Well, I guess
I think it's important to understand that we have an electronic alert system too, and that would stay in place. This does not replace that. This works alongside that.
Well, I guess the point some of the callers have asked, and I wanted to get clarification on it. This is not something that is meant to wake you up if you're asleep and a tornado comes, and this is not something that you're even supposed to really hear indoors if you're watching TV or something. This is for those that are outside at the time that it's happening.
That's right. I don't think it is meant to wake you up. You're correct.
And so I guess my question is that since outdoors, it seems very limited in its capabilities if all it's going to do is alert people who are actually outside outdoors during a storm.
Well, I think it's designed to do just that, and I don't know if you can describe it as limited because you don't know, you can't predict the situation that it's going to be used in, but it's going to, I haven't heard it. You haven't heard it. I mean, I think there's some people indoors that'll hear it, but I think it'll serve its purpose. Okay.
Well, so I guess one of the questions that we have right now is that what the city council is looking at is that the effective tax rate? We've got a question on our text message about that.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's we have all new terms for tax rates, but I believe it's the effective tax. That's the old term. The new term is the no new tax rate. But
essentially,
yeah, that's correct.
I said the average person in Lubbock would not be paying more on their taxes. If they got a big appraisal, they may pay a little more. If they have less, they may pay a little less. But for the average person, they're going to pay about the same. Is that
they would pay? Yeah, they would pay on the average single-family residence. That person, there would be no increase in what they pay in their taxes.
Okay. And one of the other questions. As far as the tornado siren thing, you're also looking at hiring someone to maintain that or look over that. What kind of position is that going to be, and how much are they going to be paid?
I don't know the salary on it. There is one person, I guess it's an administrator, that would be hired to maintain and run it. As you can imagine, there's quite a bit of technology, wireless technology involved. So once you have it up and you have to, you want to make sure it's there when you need it, and there's somebody there to maintain that.
So how sure is it that this is going to go through? I mean, does it look like that's going to pass right now?
Right now, I think council, there hasn't been any discussion against it, and so there's still several meetings to go to process the budget. So I'd place no guarantees on anything until, it requires 7 votes, but it's still in the proposed budget right now.
Okay. We got to take a quick break. We've got Councilman Massengale on the phones. We're talking a little bit about the budget that's been proposed, as well as anything else that you may come up with your text. If you want to text us, make sure to do that at 806-680-2790. We'll be right back on Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We're going to get right back to the phones with Councilman Massengale. Councilman, now the proposed budget, I want to make it very clear. I understand the proposed budget is very conservative. There's no major construction efforts or anything like that that's in there, right?
No, there's really not. It's a budget that continues to do the best we can at maintaining the things we have. I think it would be irresponsible to not prioritize and continue to maintain what we have, but it's pretty conservative. There's no cost of living increase for staff, and there's no increase for health insurance. There's some vehicles in there that we're going to continue to buy with cash. The larger vehicles we're going to finance. I believe there's 5 of those. Those are big pieces of equipment for street maintenance mainly. But yeah, it's pretty conservative. I think we're impressed with what staff has brought us this year, considering the circumstances.
So, I know that there's no extra police officers that are added in. Is that a worry with the Lubbock growing the way it is?
We rely on staff for that. We always want to make sure we have adequate police out there, but if right now we're comfortable with the recommendation.
And I know that we're going to finish the police stations, and that's part of the budget, but that's something that was slated to be done anyway, right?
Yeah, those projects were funded out of previous budgets. Remind everybody that's what our penny increase was last year. That was solely for the Public Safety's Improvement Project. Those substations are all under construction now. You can see those out. The South Station is out South Indiana, 142nd, I believe it is. The East Substation is at 19th and MLK, and the North Substation is on Erskine, just west of Frankfort. So if you're close by over there, if you drive by those often, you'll see. I believe the walls are coming up on all those right now. We're in the design phase for the downtown police headquarters, which will be built south of the parking garage that will be constructed at Citizens Tower. And then the next project that should start soon would be Municipal Court, which will be in the building just west across the alley from Citizens Tower.
So do we have an ETA of the police moving into the new substations?
I think we're looking at that next May, that type of time frame. As you know, you don't land those projects on a dime, but they're on schedule right now and making really good progress.
Okay. I guess in the budget, was there anything else that may have surprised you?
No, there were not any surprises in it. It's just it's not where I thought we'd be if we were talking about this a year ago. But I was pleased that the staff was able to recommend a tax decrease, and hopefully we'll work our way through this coronavirus, and hopefully there's some type of medical therapy that puts us in a different place next year, and maybe the budget looks different next year. But it's really hard to predict at this point.
So I do have a question about City Bus. I know that we started a new program with City Bus that was the national government, the U.S. government helped pay for a program that actually picked people up, I guess, at the end of their block, took them where they wanted to go, and it's more like almost like a ride share program to some extent.
City Bus on Demand.
is Lubbock going to be footing the bill for that from this point forward? And is the city bus budget looking okay as far as having the normal bus routes?
Well, as you know, we're under in the last several months, we've hired consultants to do a route study, and we haven't seen the results of the route study, so we're anticipating that report to change how City Bus looks, and I hope that it continues to incorporate the City Bus on demand in that. So when we see that report, we'll know what City Bus will look like moving forward.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. Like you said, there's not a lot going on as far as what the city council did. If you don't have anything else you want to talk about, I guess we're about to take a break. I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else you want to talk
about? I'm good to go myself.
Councilman,
y'all are letting me off the hook easy.
I'm letting you off the hook about 15 minutes early today. Can you believe that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, y'all made things. Y'all just there wasn't a lot going on last night, and the budget's the big deal, I think. And as it gets a little closer, we'll probably have a lot more questions about the budget. But at this point, I think.
Yeah, the next meetings are going to be tax hearings, and that's when citizens can come give their opinions. And so there might be some things brought up there, but the staff's done great work on the budget, and it's moving forward pretty smoothly at this point.
Yeah, I got a letter saying that I could go speak in front of the council, and I was like, But it had to do with one of my neighbors, I guess, wanting a change in to build something or another. I was like, I don't care what he does on his property.
That's probably ZBA.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't come in front of. The zoning.
Oh, okay. The zoning, committee. Gotcha. Yeah. Either way, I was like, I don't care what he does with his property. It was like 4 houses down anyway. So, all right. Well, Councilman Massengale, I thank you for coming on. It's been enlightening, and we'll talk to you again soon, and we'll have more information about the budgets at that point.
Okay. Y'all have a great day.
All right. You too. Thank you. We'll be back on News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO.